Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all, and let's just get right into this review. So this episode picks up where the last one left off, where all the girls come back to the Baddies house after all the drama that went down at the cider mill at the end of last week's episode. And Summer and Dolly are the first two to run into the house, and they're hyping each other up, getting excited, ready to fight whoever walks in the door. And Prettyp is the next person to walk into the door, and she drops all her stuff and starts running too. And pause for a second. Some people I've seen in the comment sections were saying that this whole scene gave BGC, and I actually agree, because if you remember watching the Bad Girls Club, whenever there was something that went down after a drunk night at the club, or they were in the limo and somebody got into it, they would come running into the house, dropping all their stuff, ready to get into it. So look, this was definitely giving BGC a little bit. But as soon as Prettyp enters the house, that's when her and Summer start running towards each other and they start fighting. And look, honestly, it was not a good fight. It was definitely very entertaining, but neither one of them looked like they hit hard. Nothing was really connecting. I just feel like the two of them can't really fight that well. And so Dolly knows that Summer can't really fight, but that's her friend, because she did say in her confessional that she knows that Summer is not the best fighter. So that's why she decided to fight Prettyp. And look, Prettyp and Dolly to me were keeping up with each other, and I watched this 3 different times. I made sure to rewind it and watch it again. It looked like they were keeping up with each other. However, I will definitely give it to Dolly, only because I couldn't really see too much of what Prettyp was doing, because she was like up against the wall. It was either a wall or a bookcase that she was up against when her and Dolly were fighting. So I could only really see what Dolly was doing, but I definitely did see Prettyp swinging. But after the fight between Dolly and Prettyp, all of a sudden Dolly starts saying that her hand is hurting and that she hit Prettyp too hard and her hand got messed up. And so they had somebody come over there and start wrapping up her hand, and she said that she needed some medicine for the pain. She said that it wasn't just from the fight with Prettyp, but that at the auditions when she was fighting people, she already had something wrong with her hand. So look, hopefully her hand ends up healing quickly, because she's on a show where there's a lot of fighting and there's no guarantee that she's not going to end up fighting again. But look, a lot of people were saying that they didn't like Prettyp, but after watching this episode, I actually kind of like her a little bit, only because she definitely stands on business. To me, she's not the best fighter. She's definitely not. However, she's not afraid to fight, and she defends herself no matter how many different people are against her, because in last week's episode, she fought 4 different people. She fought Diamond the Body, she fought Tinkerbella, she fought Summer, and she fought Dolly, so I have to give her some respect. Now, while Dolly is getting her hand wrapped, all the other girls end up walking in and they see all the chaos that went down in the house. You can see nails on the floor. You can see people's wigs ripped off. It just looks crazy at this point. So everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. And while everybody is trying to figure out what's going on, Prettyp and Summer end up fighting once again. And this time they were kind of fighting up against the window. To me, neither one of them won that fight either, because to me, neither one of them really connect any hits. It looks like they're just blindly swinging at each other, but they were up against the window. I don't know. It just got crazy at this point. And then they ended up fighting once again. Like, they just will not stop fighting each other. And look, it is entertaining to watch. However, it's not really good fights, because in my opinion, neither one of them can really fight. And to be honest with you, neither one of them is winning in my opinion. Then Jasmine ends up walking in the door, and Summer immediately starts with her. Like, she starts coming at Jasmine out of nowhere, and Jasmine seems confused by this, because she claims that Summer actually apologized to her while they were out. So she doesn't understand why Summer all of a sudden just started to switch up, and that's confusing to me, because if Summer really did apologize to Jasmine, I don't understand her trying to come at Jasmine. I mean, it's fine if they don't like each other, but just don't apologize if you don't mean it. Like, to me, that doesn't make any sense. So the two of them start fighting each other, and look, to me, neither one of them was really winning the fight, although I can say that Jasmine was swinging, and it seems like Summer was just pulling Jasmine's hair, but she ended up pulling Jasmine's hair really hard, to the point where Jasmine ended up falling on the floor, and that's when Summer decided to start taking over the fight. However, I don't feel like you can fight if all you do is pull hair. Like, if you're pulling hair to get a grip on somebody so that you can hit them, that's one thing, but just pulling their hair the entire time, to me, is not really fighting, and that doesn't mean you won, in my opinion. And after that fight ends up getting broken up, Summer starts telling Jasmine that she's not sorry, but it's like, okay, if you're not sorry, then why'd you apologize? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It starts to make me think that when she gets some liquor in her system, she becomes a different person, and to me, that's not cute. cute. So then Summer and Jasmine end up fighting again, and once again Summer starts grabbing Jasmine by the hair, and it was kind of getting a little bit annoying to me because it's like at this point there's no point in the two of you fighting because number one, neither one of you are really doing anything, and number two, all she's gonna do is pull Jasmine by her hair and drop her on the floor, and that's gonna be the end of the fight. So I was kind of over watching them fight at this point. I'm not gonna lie though, even though sometimes I do find Summer annoying, she can be funny and entertaining because at some point in this episode she starts laughing and dancing and singing a song about not wearing any panties, and she starts doing a little dance and the other girls start singing with her and egging her on to do it, and I thought that was kind of funny. Now, Prettyp decides that she wants to fight Summer again, so the two of them start fighting, and look, it was not really a fight. It didn't last very long. The two of them ended up both falling on the floor trying to pull each other's hair, and security ended up breaking it up. So I was so relieved when Natalie finally told them that they have to stop fighting because they have to go out to the skating rink because they have a booking there. I was just glad that she told them they had to stop because they had to leave because I was over watching them fight at this point. But look, Rolly actually ends up telling Natalie before they leave to go to the skating rink that she actually wants to join Biggie, Tinkerbella, and Diamond the Body in the house with the new girls because she feels like a lot's going on and she wants to be there to kind of learn some stuff from the other girls and them learn some stuff from her. I honestly think that it's a good idea for her to go in the house with the other girls because maybe if she does it, maybe all the girls at some point would want to be in the same house together because I honestly feel like it defeats the purpose of the show when you have them in two separate houses. That's just my opinion. If they did Bad Girls Club that way, it would have not been entertaining. Now, they all end up getting on the bus together to go to the skating rink, and look, I was thinking that there wasn't going to be any drama on this bus ride because I thought they got everything out of their system before they left, but as soon as Rolly and Arkbar were trying to get to know some of the other girls like Prettyp and they were asking her where she's from, as soon as she started to answer, that's when Summer started coming at her, and look, they start going back and forth, and then Summer and Jasmine end up getting into a heated back and forth because Jasmine said that she doesn't understand why, you know, Summer wanted to fight her again after she apologized and that she shouldn't have apologized if she didn't mean it. And that's when Summer tried to lie on the bus and claimed that she never apologized to Jasmine, but then some of the other girls on the bus, including Ivory, said that they actually heard Summer apologize to Jasmine. So I just feel like, you know, Summer acts up a little bit too much. Like, if you get drunk and you don't remember what you do, you probably shouldn't drink that much. Like, it's giving Judy a little bit. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but sometimes Judy would do some dumb shit when she was drunk, and then the next day when people confront her about it, she pretends like she never did it. Like with that whole muffin situation in one of the girls' beds, she ended up breaking up a muffin, and then she tried to blame one of the other girls for it, even though she was the one that did it. So I just feel like it's giving Judy a little bit. And look, I liked Judy on the Bad Girls Club. Some of the stuff that she did was annoying, just like Summer, but if Summer's using Judy's tactics, then it's working because a lot of people do like her and she is becoming a fan favorite very quickly. But despite all the fighting that went down before and while they were on the bus ride on the way to the skating rink, once they got there, they actually were calm and cool. They had a good time. Everybody partied with each other. They partied with the fans. It was actually really fun to watch. I enjoy watching them go out with each other and have a good time. I mean, Diamond the Body seemed like she was having more fun than everybody else because she got on the microphone and was performing and dancing, and she even ended up ripping her wig off her head and the crowd went crazy for it. I don't know. I just knew that they were having a good time from what I saw. Now, the next day, the girls are on two different sprinters on the way to the Baddies' house because they have to meet up with Natalie, and Natalie ends up calling Jayla, who was on the bus with the OGs, and she lets them know that they're going to be going to Cleveland, but that one of the girls are going to be sent home. And that's when some of the OG baddies were saying that they need to send more than one person home, and I honestly didn't agree with them because if they're going to send more than one person home, then that means one of the OGs need to leave, one of the ones that are kind of fading into the background, because I don't think it would be fair to just send all the new girls home. Like, to me, that's not fair. But all the girls end up pulling up to the front of the house where Natalie is standing, and she lets them all know that somebody will be going home, and she tells them that if anybody has an issue with each other that they want to let out, they need to do it before they leave. And we know that that's because Natalie wants ratings for her show, so she wants them to fight, and she did end up instigating a fight because she ended up calling out Biggie out of all people, telling her that she had a lot to say about Arkbar the previous night and that if she has something to say to her, she needs to handle her business. And look, I will say that to me, Biggie was doing too much on the bus in last week's episode when Rolly and Jayla were saying that they felt like Arkbar was the best rapper on the bus, and she kind of went off and was acting like a big baby about it. To me, she was doing too much in that situation. However, Arkbar has kind of picked at Biggie a little bit too this season. So to me, I feel like they went tit for tat with each other, but I didn't feel like it was necessary for Natalie to call out Biggie and sit there and tell her that if she doesn't stand on business, she's not going with them to Cleveland, because at the end of the day, if she doesn't want to fight, she doesn't have to fight. Although sometimes when it comes to this whole situation with everybody getting on Biggie because she doesn't defend herself, I kind of don't feel bad for her, because even though a lot of people did not like Smiley because she had a lot of flaws, when she wasn't defending herself, Biggie was one of the people that were picking at her about it and going off on her and even smacked her in the face when she didn't want to fight. So to me, I don't really feel bad for Biggie. I just feel like at this point, Natalie is picking at Biggie because she doesn't really like her, let's be honest. So Arkbar ends up addressing Biggie, and she says that she doesn't have a problem with Biggie. She just doesn't like that she doesn't really defend herself, and she let somebody call her out and she didn't do anything. And Biggie is just annoyed at the fact that Arkbar cares so much because it's none of her business. So they start going back and forth with each other, and Arkbar says that she heard that this is not even the only time that Biggie didn't defend herself, because she heard that at the reunion, Biggie got smacked by somebody and she didn't do anything. And that is the truth. She did get hit at the reunion and she did not do anything about it, and she should have, because she talks a lot of shit, and if you have a big mouth, you should be able to defend yourself. But I have to say the same thing about Anna too, because even though I like Anna and she does fight if she has to, she's turned down some fights too this season, and nobody's saying anything to her about it. While Biggie and Arkbar are going back and forth with each other, all of a sudden Biggie ends up throwing her purse at Arkbar. Now, it misses her. It doesn't hit her. But I was surprised that nobody ended up swinging after the purse was thrown, okay? Some people feel like Biggie should have swung after she threw the purse at Arkbar. And some people, like Tasiki, feel like Arkbar should have swung at Biggie after she threw the purse. Honestly, both of them standing there in the stance like they're gonna fight, but just talking and doing nothing doesn't make any sense. I was kind of annoyed by it because they were doing a little bit too much talking for me. But I will say, in my opinion, if Biggie would have threw her purse at me, I would have swung at her, because you're not going to throw something at me whether you missed or not. I just feel like Arkbar should have swung. Honestly, either one of them could have swung, but I knew watching the previews for this in last week's episode that they weren't going to end up fighting each other. I just knew for some reason that it wasn't going to happen. And so Summer gets so annoyed at the fact that, you know, Arkbar and Biggie are just in the stance like they're going to fight, but nothing's happening. So she runs up on Jasmine out of nowhere from the back, and she starts hitting her, and she pulls her by her hair while security is holding her. And to me, that was lame. Like, at this point, it seems like Summer is picking at Jasmine, because I thought that Ivory was the first person to come at Summer, like in the first episode on the bus. Wasn't it Ivory that went off on Summer first and put her hands on her, but yet she has all this smoke for Jasmine and not Ivory? Like, it makes me wonder if she's scared of Ivory or something, because why is that the only person you're coming at? Like, I don't know. It's just weird to me that she has all this smoke for Jasmine, especially because she apologized to her. We didn't get to see it, but more than one person said that she apologized, so I believe that she did apologize. And Summer is claiming that the reason she went after Jasmine the way that she did is because Jasmine said something about the father of her child, but Jasmine claims that she didn't, and if she did, it was because Summer was the one who told her all the information the first day that they got together. So I don't know if that's true or not, because somebody in this episode, and I forgot who it was, I think it was Anna, said that it was actually Summer who was talking about the father of, you know, Jasmine's child. So I don't know. I don't know this whole situation about talking about each other's baby daddies. I really don't know, and I don't understand why that would be a reason to fight, but I'm confused by that whole situation because it wasn't on camera and we didn't get to see it. And at this point, Natalie is frustrated with Biggie because she ended up getting into it with Arkbar, but she didn't stand on business in Natalie's opinion. So they're going back and forth with each other. And Jaidyn ends up getting annoyed at Biggie because she feels like she's yelling and talking too much, and it's Jaidyn's birthday, so she wants to hurry up and get on the bus and leave to go to Cleveland so that she can celebrate her birthday, which is understandable. I can understand her wanting to get up and leave. However, I don't feel like she really should have addressed Biggie, because I just feel like it didn't have nothing to do with her. Like, let Natalie yell at her if she wants to yell at her. But I can understand why she was annoyed, because I would be annoyed too if it was my birthday and we had to stand around because people are yelling back and forth with each other. However, she started saying that it was her birthday and she wanted to leave, and that's when Biggie started coming at her, telling her that she's not even dressed like it was her birthday. And I mean, she wasn't, but it was the morning time. She looked like she was high, and they were getting on the bus to go to another city, so of course she's not going to dress up right away. She's going to wait until they're going out later in the night. So I really didn't understand the point of Biggie saying that. But they're going back back and forth with each other a little bit, and then Jaidyn ends up throwing her flowers at Biggie. So Biggie starts swinging on Jaidyn, and they start swinging at each other at this point, okay? It's only a few seconds long. Security gets in the way, knocks Jaidyn over, and then that's when Biggie starts grabbing Jaidyn by her hair. Now, people are being a little bit over the top in the comments section saying that Biggie really beat up Jaidyn and knocked her to the ground and was beating her up. And it's like, no, she didn't. They were both swinging on each other, basically blindly swinging at each other, to be honest with you, because neither one of them looked like they were connecting any hits to each other. I watched this 4 times, mind you, in slow motion. And then she ended up falling because of the security guard. But I will give the win to Biggie because we can see what she was doing and you couldn't really see what Jaidyn was doing. And Jaidyn looked like she was high as a kite and she fell on the floor, so I'm gonna give it to Biggie that Biggie won. I'm just saying though that I didn't understand people getting mad at Biggie when she fought Jaidyn, because I know it was Jaidyn's birthday and so you shouldn't fight somebody when it's their birthday. However, everybody was yelling that she needed to defend herself and stand on business, and that's what she did because Jaidyn threw flowers at her. So I was confused why people were mad at her because she fought Jaidyn. Now then Jazmin and Summer end up fighting again because this time Jazmin decided to put a bonnet on so that Summer could not pull her hair because that's all she really does. And they end up fighting again, and it was a lame fight. To me, neither one of them can really fight, so I feel like they should stop fighting. I'm kind of over it and ready to see somebody else get into it at this point. But Natalie ends up saying that she likes both of them, so she's going to keep them both. And so look, I knew the two of them weren't going home because Natalie's not going to, get rid of people who are going to fight and give her a rating. She's going to keep those people and get rid of the people who are not doing anything. So Natalie ends up announcing who's going home, and she actually ends up telling Yoshi that she has to leave. And honestly, I was glad about this. I was glad that Yoshi was going home because she faded into the background too much. I forgot who she was or that she was even there. That's how much she faded into the background. Now, I'm not saying that she needed to fight to be noticed, but she was always hidden in the background somewhere. She wasn't engaged with any of the girls or anything like that. So I just felt like this was not the show for her. But Natalie is so phony. I mean, Natalie is still the same person she was on Bad Girls Club season 4. She just talks a little bit differently because she sat up there in Yoshi's face and told her that she really likes her and she doesn't really want her to leave, but she feels like it's not the right show for her, and she knows that Yoshi has been going through some things and that she really wanted her to be there. But then in her confessional, she starts saying that Yoshi was boring. She could have just told Yoshi to her face that she wasn't really doing much and she was fading into the background. She could have told her that to her face. She really didn't have to wait until she got into the confessional to do it. Now, before they end up getting on the Baddies bus to go to Cleveland, Ohio, Natalie announces that she's going to be giving away a Baddies chain. And look, Diamond the Body starts going off about this, okay? She starts saying that Natalie should not be giving any of these new girls a Baddies chain because if she couldn't get one last season and she had to wait until a whole different season to get her Baddies chain, then she feels like these new girls should have to wait too. And I actually agree with her. Not because she had to wait, but because none of these girls have really proven themselves yet. Like, this is only like the 4th or 5th episode of the season. Like, I feel like she should wait to give away a Baddies chain, but Natalie ended up giving a Baddies chain to Ivory, and I was confused by that because I honestly don't feel like Ivory should have been the first girl to get a Baddies chain. I feel like it should have been either Lex or Summer. Now, I'm not a fan of Summer, but she is entertaining and she's bringing a lot of the drama this season. So if you're gonna give it to somebody, it should be somebody that's standing out from the crowd. And to me, the last couple of episodes, Ivory has faded into the background. Now, maybe they gave it to her because she's a known new girl and maybe that's why she ended up getting the Baddies chain. I'm not saying that Ivory should not get a Baddies chain at all. I just don't think that she should have been the first person to get it. Now, while all the girls are on the Baddies bus on their way to Cleveland, Jayla decides that she's going to address Biggie about the fight that she had with Jaidyn because she feels like the energy that, Biggie gave to Jaidyn should have been directed at Arkbar because Arkbar has been the one that's been coming at her the last few episodes, and she felt like she should have fought, Arkbar instead of Jaidyn. And although I understand where Jayla's coming from because Arkbar has definitely been going at Biggie the last few episodes, and this was the first time Jaidyn had even addressed Biggie, Jaidyn did throw flowers at Biggie, and that's probably the reason why she went after her and not Arkbar. I would have to see what would happen if Arkbar ended up throwing something at Biggie. If she didn't do anything, then I'll say she was scared of Arkbar. But if Jaidyn didn't want to have to fight on her birthday, she shouldn't have thrown flowers at the girl. That's all I'm gonna say. And Tasiki ends up defending Biggie because even though Jayla was saying that Biggie should have ran up on Arkbar after she threw the purse at her, Tasiki said that Arkbar should have been the one to run up on Biggie because Biggie's the one who threw the purse at her. So I'll just wait to see what else happens between Biggie and Arkbar later on in the season. I'm not going to dwell on this particular situation. I'll wait to see if something happens with them later on in another episode. Now, somebody on the bus ends up asking Jasmine if she met Summer before the show, and she said that she never met Summer before, so she doesn't understand why Summer has so much energy towards her. However, Lex ended up getting involved in the conversation and says that she feels like the reason why, you know, Jasmine and Summer have beef with each other is because when Summer was getting into it with a lot of the girls on the bus in the first episode, Jasmine involved herself in the situation, and that's the reason why the two of them ended up getting into it. But then Anna interjects into the conversation and starts coming at Lex, and I was confused because Anna basically says to Lex that the same way she's saying that Jasmine inserted herself into drama that Summer had with other people is the same way that Lex inserted herself into the drama that Jayla had with other people. But to me, it's not the same thing because, you know, Lex was just stating an opinion, but when Summer was getting into it with other people on the bus, Jasmine got involved and was telling her to calm down and all that stuff like that. Now, I do feel like Summer started it though, because Summer did throw water on Jasmine, so if you're gonna throw something at somebody, it's gonna be beef. But I just feel like, you know, it's not the same thing, and I don't know where Anna was coming from with that, but she might want to tread lightly on Lex because she might think that Lex is an easy target, but she's not. The last person who thought that Lex was an easy target ended up with a knot on their head and a little bit of a scratch or a black eye, so I just don't understand why she decided to come for Lex. I'm confused by that. Now, they were on the bus for a while, okay, and everybody was dancing and having a good time, and Summer was dancing around, joking with everybody, and all of a sudden Prettyp starts making comments towards her, basically telling her to be quiet and to shut up and that she's ugly. And so Scotty kind of gets annoyed by this, and she starts telling Prettyp to leave Summer alone because she needs to just let her be. And that's what I've been saying, okay? When Summer is not bothering anybody and she's just dancing around and talking, just let her be, because you're making her the star of the show when you do that. When you keep picking at the girl, everybody's gonna end up liking her because you're doing that, and that's exactly what's happening in this situation with Summer. So I agree with Scotty when she told Prettyp to just let Summer be. But Anna and a few other people were kind of instigating the two of them to fight, and then all of a sudden Prettyp and Summer start fighting with each other on the floor of a cramped bus, okay? They were in a very cramped area of the bus fighting with each other on the floor, and it got ugly really quickly, and then they ended up getting separated from each other. And Prettyp is one of those people who, when she gets really angry, she starts crying. So she starts crying on the bus, saying that people are ugly and that she wants to fight everybody who wants to fight her, and she starts going off about it. Meanwhile, Summer's over there in the corner wearing Prettyp's wig. So I don't know, things got crazy, but I will say I do have some respect for Prettyp because she does defend herself even when she has multiple people coming at her. Now, they finally end up arriving to the Baddies' house in Cleveland, and it's a lot nicer than the house that they were in Detroit. But one of the rooms had a lot of bunk beds, and a lot of the tall girls ended up in that room, which was actually confusing to me. I thought we were tired bunk beds on this show after Baddies South, but I guess not. But everyone ends up getting all dressed up to go back on the Baddies bus because they have to go out and celebrate Jaidyn's birthday. And while they're on the Baddies bus, all of a sudden the bus is not moving because they're actually stuck in the mud. Like, the bus was literally stuck in the mud. And so Summer all of a sudden starts deciding that she's going to come at Jasmine again, saying that that's the reason why they're stuck in the mud is because of Jasmine. And she starts telling Jasmine to get off the bus. And you can tell that Jasmine is starting to get really irritated with Summer because I think she just wants to be done with Summer. I don't think she wants to fight with her anymore, argue with her anymore. I just think she wants Summer to leave her alone, but I don't think that's going to happen at all this season. Now, eventually, they do end up getting the bus out of the mud, and they end up going to the club to celebrate Jaidyn's birthday, and they all have a really good time, and it was actually really fun to watch. I'm ready to see what happens in next week's episode, though. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Midwest. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.